Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless. This is also Josiah here. We're here with IUIC Raleigh in the classroom. Today's class is going to be 2024, Watch Ye Therefore. 2024, Watch Ye Therefore. Because now they say we're in so-called 2024. The timing is off. You know, they got the time wrong because the new year don't start till the springtime.
That's right.
We still in the dead of winter. But we still have to watch ye therefore. So let's get right into it. We go into the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 1.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things?
So he said, disciples came to Christ. Christ, he just finished blasting the Pharisees and Sadducees in the chapter before this. And then now he's leaving the temple, and the disciples are like, wow, look at it, look at this building over here, look at that. And he says, See ye not all these things? Read.
Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
So he said, See ye not all these things? What he's saying is the prophecies. See ye not all these prophecies? Because watch this. Go back. This is why Christ said, See ye not all these things. Read Matthew chapter 23, verse 37.
Bring it out.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not?
And ye would not, meaning the prophets, they were scattering, they were stoning the prophets. You got the wicked Israelites was stoning the prophets, them scribes, Pharisees, chief priests and them. And he was not gathering the scattered. Come on.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
It said, behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Talk about Jerusalem. That's 70 AD. That's when it was going to be desolate. So that's why Christ said, See ye not all these things? Meaning he was just prophesying about that thing. So go back, Matthew 24 again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
So it shall not be thrown down, which is future prophecy. Give me that in Daniel chapter 9, verse 26.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
It says, so Messiah would be cut off in 62 weeks. That's Christ. So he was going to die. And it says, but not for himself, meaning he was going to die for Israel. And the people of the prince there is talking about Edom.
The devil.
Titus Vespasian, Rome. So the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's talking about that 70 AD. Read.
And the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
Desolations are determined. Come on.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Mm-hmm. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate.
So it shall be made desolate, meaning the sanctuary, the temple, Jerusalem, everything was going to be destroyed and be left desolate. So that's what Christ was talking about there. So go back, Matthew 24 again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Read.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
And of the end of the world. And of the end of the world. What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So they wanted to know, when was it going to happen? The end of whose world? Let's find out. Give me that in 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 9.
Bring it out.
2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 9.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
So the last kingdom to rule the world before Christ is Esau. And guess what? Esau was ruling at that time, but that was not the time. So Rome was in power at that time. So go back to Matthew now.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?
Read on.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For
it says, take heed that no man deceive you. Read.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
So it said, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And shall deceive many. That's talking about all them Edomites, all these Christian pastors, all them that are teaching doctrines contrary to the word of God. Give me that. Hold that. And shall deceive many. Give me Revelation 13, verse 14. This is one of the many that came saying that they are Christ.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
It's talking about the white man. It said he had power to do miracles in the sight of the beast. And he deceived the world. How? Because they got media. They got the social media. They deceived the whole world into believing that Jesus was a white man. They deceived the whole world into believing that the Jews, the Israelis, were the people of God. They deceived the world into believing that Jesus was born on December 25th. They deceived the world into believing that the new year begins in January 1st. They've been deceiving the world. Come on.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the womb by a sword and did live.
The image to the beast is talking about that white image of Jesus. Give me that. Give me out the prisoner, IT. Release the prisoner from his chains. So we can see what it's talking about. Because when it said an image to the beast, that's talking about the image they used with a wound of the sword and did live. That's going into Rome fell in 198 AD and it rose back in power in 1453, the Renaissance era, which means rebirth. And what they did, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci painted Caesar Borgia, Cesare Borgia, in the image of Christ. You see that? That's it right there. That's it right there. That's the prisoner right there. That's the image of the beast. That's who's deceiving the world.
The
Deceive many. Let's go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 4.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Come on.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet.
So we've been hearing about a lot of wars. You got bombs dropping in the Gaza Strip. You got bombs dropping in Ukraine. You got bombs dropping in Syria, in the West Bank. Come on.
For nation shall rise against nation.
Russia against Syria. Israel against Gaza. Israel against Syria, against Turkey. Come on.
And kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
So famines, pestilences. We had to shut the school down for 2 weeks because of sickness. We don't know what happened, but some sickness ripped through the congregation. Many families got sick. They got some kind of thing going on, some disease in the air. Could have been COVID back again. And it says earthquakes in diverse places, in different places. Let me get that article about the earthquake that happened in Japan. The earthquake that happened in Japan on January 1st.
Bring it out.
Watch this. It said earthquakes in diverse places. Go ahead, IT.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. A major 7.6 magnitude earthquake has hit central Japan in the last hour. The epicenter is on the coast of the Sea of Japan, with a tsunami warning now stretching the entire length of Japan's west coast. The biggest dangers are in Ishikawa, Niigata, Toyama and Yamagata prefectures, where a rare major tsunami warning is in place. Waves are expected of up to 5 meters. The 7.6 quake came amid a cluster of other big shakes, with early images on social media showing property damage and elevated wave heights crashing onto the shore. There are no reports as yet of casualties, but this is happening right now. These early reports will change as further information comes in. A nuclear power plant is in the quake zone, but has not reported any irregularities. That flame vision you saw there is not from the nuclear power plant. Just repeating, there has been a 7.6 earthquake in west central Japan. A major tsunami warning is now in operation across 4 prefectures.
So with that, let's go back. So it said, so that's the prophecy being fulfilled. That's Bible prophecy right there being fulfilled. Earthquakes in diverse places. There was an earthquake a couple years back, maybe a decade ago in Haiti. There was a tsunami in Japan a little while back too. So come on.
Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
All these are the beginning of sorrows. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 2. The beginning of sorrows.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
It says, read verse 1. Read verse 1 and 2.
Verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
So we're supposed to measure the time diligently in itself. Come on.
And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
So we seeing the prophecies be fulfilled before our eyes. That's what it's saying. We're seeing that we're in the time of the end. We're seeing that we're in the time of the prophecy being fulfilled. And when the time when the Most High will begin to visit the earth. Give that in Isaiah 29 and 6 about visiting the earth. This is how the highest visits the world. Isaiah 29 and 6.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire.
So you see that? We saw basically all that in that video. It said, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise, and with the sound of tempests and storms and flames of devouring fire. So that's how the Lord visits the earth. Right. So we're seeing the prophecy fulfilled. We're seeing the Lord visit the earth. We're witnessing that thing with our very eyes. Some powerful stuff, brothers. Come on, go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Why? Because we're revealing these things. The prophets are revealing that the signs of the times are at hand, and Esau knows that he has a short time. The more we reveal him, the more we reveal that the prophecies, the more Esau realizes his time is coming to an end. The devil. So watch this. Give me Revelation 12. About he knows that he have a short time. Let me get that precept. Let me see where is it? I know it's in 12. Verse 12. Revelation 12 and 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you.
For the devil is come down unto you. Come on.
Having great wrath.
Right.
Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Who's that devil there? That's the so-called white man. The so-called white man. He knows that he has a short time. The more we reveal the prophecy, the more he realizes his time is coming to an end. So because of that, that's why it says he's going to kill us. So now give me that. Revelation 2 and 9. This is the devil. Come on. Revelation 2 and 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
So God knows our works, the Israelites' works, and tribulation and poverty. So the real Jews, the real Israelites, would be in poverty. They wouldn't be living in the best places. They wouldn't be living in the mansions. They wouldn't be living in the land of Israel and beachfront houses and all that stuff. Where them Israelis at, stealing people's houses.
What the hell?
Come on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
The blasphemy is a lie against God. It says of them which say they are Jews and are not,
but are the synagogue of Satan.
So that's the devil.
The devil.
Those white people in Israel calling themselves the Jews are the devil, the synagogue of Satan. Thus saith the Lord. Read.
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
That's the same thing it was saying in Matthew 24. So in case you were confused, it says the synagogue of Satan in verse 9. In verse 10, it says, behold the devil. So the synagogue of Satan and the devil are one in the same, interchangeable. It says she will cast some of you, the prophets of God, the Israelites, into prison, that ye may be tried. So that's future prophecy. Some of us are going to be cast into prison for this word. Come on, go back to Matthew 24 now, verse 9 again.
Bring it out.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
But the Bible says, blessed is the sight of the Lord, and the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. So he loved that thing. So when we die for this, we're gonna be in paradise with Christ.
Right.
So now, read on.
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Let me get that picture that I sent you with the shirt. So that's how they're going to find some of us. That's how they're going to find us. That's how they're going to kill us. Because some of us, or some of the men in this truth, they're going to betray one another. They're going to betray us just like William O'Neill betrayed, what's his name again? Betray him, the guy, Judas and the Black Messiah movie. You know what I'm talking about. Forgot his name. Not Stokely Carmichael. Fred Hampton, thank you. Fred Hampton of the Black Panther Party. That's what's going to happen. Come on.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
And when that's happening, it says, many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. So them false prophets, that's going into these Christian pastors. That's going into these Catholic pastors. That's going into them. Some who have allegedly done certain things, certain acts with certain celebrities, which we're not going into right now. Come on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
It says because iniquity, meaning sin. Iniquity is sin. It says sin shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Give me that article I put there. It says California boy.
Bring it out.
The article about the California boy. This is an example of the love of many shall wax cold. Why you getting that? Give me 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 2. All right. Y'all play it. You can play it.
Fighting back tears, loved ones lay flowers and light candles for a young soul taken too soon. Family members say 10-year-old Keith Frierson, affectionately called KJ, was shot and killed at this apartment complex on Green Home Drive.
10 years old? No, they was only 10 years old.
KJ's aunt Erica, struck by grief, her heartbreak is palpable.
And he didn't deserve this. He still had a whole life to live.
Erica says KJ came out of his apartment to ride his bike when his life was cut short.
He wasn't even outside 15 minutes. And the little boy shot my nephew.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says a 10-year-old boy shot another 10-year-old boy around 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Investigators say the 10-year-old suspected shooter went into his father's vehicle to get him cigarettes. He then took a gun from inside, bragging that his father had one, and shot the other 10-year-old. The Sheriff's Office arrested the father and the son. The victim, who the family says is KJ, was taken to the hospital where he later died.
Parents,
Y'all can stop right there.
don't watch.
It's a 10-year-old boy stole the gun from his dad's car, and he was about to take cigarettes, and shot another 10-year-old kid. Huh? It's like, huh? That joint is crazy. I remember when I was 10 years old, we weren't doing dumb stuff like that. That's crazy. That's unheard of. When I was 10, we was playing soccer in the yard or whatever we was doing, going to the park riding bikes. Now 10-year-old kids is taking guns and shooting other 10-year-old kids dead. That's iniquity abounding right there. Give me that, Ezra 5 and 2.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest.
It said, iniquity shall be increased above what you now see. So in the time of Ezra, which is Persian time, sin was going to increase to a higher level. And it is. In this day, sin is at the highest level it has ever been on the planet Earth. And that's what we see in today. So come on, go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
So we got to endure these things. We got to endure being betrayed by our brothers and being put to death. We got to endure being put in prison for the gospel of Christ. We got to endure the sins of this world. These are the things that we must endure in order to be saved. Come on.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So the gospel is not white man Jesus. The gospel is not Allah. The gospel is not Buddha. The gospel is not African centralism or whatever you call that stuff, Egyptology. We're going to show you what the gospel is. Is Christ the black Messiah returning to save the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel? Give me that Isaiah
That's
61.
right.
Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1.
Bring it out.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
We the ones that fill up the prison houses. We the ones in captive. We're the ones the brokenhearted. Now all nations, come on.
To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn.
It said the day of vengeance of our God. That's what the gospel is about, the day of vengeance, when revenge will be brought upon these nations for all the evil they have done to us as a nation. Come on.
To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified.
So to appoint them that mourn in Zion, Zion is Israel, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. All of that is the gospel of God. The gospel was for Zion, meaning Israel, not for all nations. For you dumb Christians out there.
The hell is this?
Come on, go back to Matthew.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So the gospel of the kingdom is going to be preached throughout all the world for a witness unto all nations. Christianity is already throughout the world. Catholicism is already throughout the world. And the end has not come. So that's how we know that those doctrines are not the gospel of God.
That's right.
Read on.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand.
That's what we read earlier. Because now Christ is explaining what he was talking about when it said, do you not see these things? In verse 2. The abomination of desolation, that's Daniel chapter 9, 23 to 26. All that is talking about that abomination that maketh desolate. That's Luke chapter 21, verse 24. That's 70 AD, so you can understand. Read on.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is...
So when it says, let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, that's talking about deeper into Africa. That's talking about Egypt and deeper into Africa. That's why when you see that old map that the bishop shows with the, find me that map. Dang, I should have took a picture of that one. It's like a map of Africa that has like the red writing, and it has all those old cities, like you'll say like the Homi Empire or the Ayuda Empire and all that stuff. That's how we got there. That's how the Israelites got to the west coast of Africa and all through. Yeah, there we go. Negro land. You see that? This map here. This is the map of Africa. So when we fled 70 AD, some of our ancestors, when they fled that Roman persecution from Titus and Vespasian and the siege of Jerusalem, these are the places where they went. When you look there, you got Negro land, you got the Garan coast, Benin, the slave coast, all those places there, Cape Palami, all those places there, those are places you're going to find remnants of the Israelites. So you can understand. That's why we have some congregations over there. There goes another map. Let me see. Negro land. They called it Negro land. The slave coast. It says Iuda on one of them. Negro land and Guinea. So these are the places where we went. When it said flee to the mountains, this is where we went. So you can understand. Here goes the other map. It might be hard to see, but this is the one that talks about it. I see something right there. It says the homie Jews. The homie Jews. Benai Ephraim. Encircled in blue, it says Benai Ephraim. It says cities of Ephraim. Levite cities to the right of that, and up there in the blue as well. Levite, that's how you know those people in Africa, that's the Jews. Ashanti, I forgot what that name means, but that's an Israelite name. That's a Hebrew name. Ashanti. So the Ashanti tribes, they knew they descended from the Jews, so you can understand. Jewish colony. So that's good right there. So when it said flee to the mountains, that's what it's talking about. So go back to Matthew 24:16 again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee unto the mountains.
And just so that you don't think we making it up, give me that in Matthew 2:13.
Bring it out.
Because we got the precepts.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
And flee into Egypt. That's not talking about just Egypt by itself. Deeper into Africa. So those are the mountains that the Israelites fled to. Our ancestors fled to. Further into Africa. That's why you got Negro land. That's why you got all them different places there. Come on. Go back to Matthew 24 again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let them which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
So it says, woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Because what happened? A lot of those women, they ended up eating their children. Give me that. Deuteronomy 28:53.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord God hath given thee, and in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
Because Titus and Vespasian sieged Jerusalem in 70 AD. And when you besiege a city, that means you cut off any export or import entering in that city. So there was no food coming in. There was no trade. All the trade was cut off. So eventually the food supply ran out. So a lot of the people was eating their kids. That's what ended up happening. Read on. Go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 19. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
So pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, because a lot of these nations, they will target us on the Sabbath. That's what the Greeks did. They targeted our people and killed us because they know that some of us, we keep the law, we're not going to fight back on the Sabbath day. Watch this. Give me that in 1 Maccabees 2:38.
Bring it out.
1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 38.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 38. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people.
So that's these Edomites, the Greeks, the devil.
The devil.
They fought us on the Sabbath day. They did battle with us on the Sabbath day because they know Some of it, we keep the law. We try not to break. We trying to keep it holy. So we's not working. We not doing any of that stuff. So that's why they attacked them, because we were vulnerable at that time. That's why it says, pray that your flight be neither on the Sabbath day, because you're vulnerable. So go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor evil shall be.
Nor ever shall be. So it's going to be great tribulation. This is talking about our time. So at that time, it was great tribulation. But now, this time, there's going to be great tribulation such as never was. Come on.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
So the days shall be shortened for the elect's sake, meaning the days are going to, right now, as we getting closer to the end time, the days are beginning to shorten. That's what the Bible is saying. Watch this. Give me, for the great tribulation, give me 2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 43.
Bring it out.
2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 43.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past.
So it says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. So that's that great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world unto this time, the day of doom. Thermonuclear destruction. They have never seen anything like that before. The whole of America is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. That's a big amount of land to just disappear in a moment of hours. That's never before seen. They dropped the atom bomb. It was only on 2 cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But Japan is still standing. America is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. That's how we know this is greater than anything that has ever happened. And it says, except those days should be shortened. Give me that in Sirach chapter 68, verse 8. Sirach chapter 68, verse 8. About the days being shortened.
The book of Sirach, chapter 36 and verse 8. Make the time short, remember the covenant, and let them declare thy wonderful works.
So it said, make the time short, remember the covenant, let them declare thy wonderful works. So that's what the elect, which is Israelites. Let me get to Isaiah 45 and 4. When it said the elect's sake, that's talking about the nation of Israel. So you can understand. That's not everybody. The time is being shortened for our sake.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
So that's Israel. It said, Jacob thy servant and Israel thine elect. Right. So the elect of God is the nation of Israel. Right. That's who the days shall be shortened for. Come on. Go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not.
So don't believe that thing. Come on.
For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
So there shall arise false Christs and false prophets. Give me that in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13.
Bring it out.
2 Corinthians 11, 13. Because we already went over the false Christ and the false prophets. The false Christ is talking about that white image of Jesus.
The devil.
The image of Caesar Borgia.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 13. For such are false prophets, deceitful, workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ.
So they transform themselves into the apostles of Christ. That's what these pastors have done. They use the Bible to try to deceive the people into believing that they are following Christ. Meanwhile, the only reason they're using the Bible is to line their pockets.
What?
Come on.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
So Satan himself has transformed into an angel of light. That's why they use that white image of Jesus to make our people believe that they are pure. That's why they call themselves white people. Meanwhile, the blood, it shows forth through their skin. They're red. Different shades of red. Pink, red, that's what they are.
Bring it out.
They're not white. But they use that word white to make you deceive our people into thinking that they're pure. That's why they did that. That's why I said Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Read on.
Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
So it says the ministers be transformed as the ministers of righteousness. But they're the ministers of sin. That's why you had that pastor who was doing the that swag surfing song and had the women twerking in the church.
The hell is this?
Exactly, what the hell is this? Had them doing the swag surfing song. They're doing the swag surf in the dang church. In the Christian church. Damn. Can't make this up. Go back, Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 24. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
So don't believe it. They tell you, oh, he's over there. Don't believe that thing. Oh, he's over there. Don't believe it. Come on.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So it says, for as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. That's talking about bombs. 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 Give me that 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 4. 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 4. Because when you picture lightning in the sky, it just shines real quick, and then it stops shining. That's the same way how a bomb is. It blows up, boof, and there's just a light flashes out of nowhere, and then it disappears. Watch this.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 4. But if the most grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet, that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day.
It said the sun shall shine suddenly in the night again. That's talking about a bomb going off. The bomb igniting, the bomb detonating, and then making a flash of light in the middle of the night. It said the moon shining thrice, 3 times in a day, because there you go. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. That's what it's talking about. That brightness of the explosion. That brightness of the explosion. That's what that's talking about. That's it right there. That's how the coming of the Son of Man shall be. That's what it's saying. So go back, Matthew 24 again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So that's the same way it's going to be when Christ returns. Bombs going off, explosions, light shining everywhere, blowing up stuff. People dying. Because y'all think Christ is coming back with sunshine and rainbows and pancakes. No. Dumb Christians. Come on.
Right.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
So it said, for wheresoever the carcass is, the dead body is, there will the eagles be gathered together. What's that talking about? What is Christ talking about here? Give me Revelation chapter 19, verse 17. what is Christ talking about here? The carcass. Christ is going to come back and there's going to be carcasses. Let's see what Christ's talking about.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of the heaven.
Dang, it said I saw an angel standing in the sun. That's some powerful stuff right there. He said to all the fowls flying in the air, come on.
Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
It said the birds of the earth are going to eat the flesh of all men, both free from free nations, meaning first world countries, and bond nations, meaning third world countries, small countries and great countries, because all nations are going to be gathered into the valley of decision, into the Middle East. That's where World War III is going to pop off. And a lot of people are going to die. And the birds are going to eat them up. That's what Christ is talking about. So let's go through it. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 13. Start at verse 5.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven.
The four winds of the heavens, talking about north, south, east, west, the armies. Come on.
To subdue the man that came out of the sea.
To subdue the man that came out of the sea, talking about he came out of space, the third heaven. That's talking about Christ, so you can understand. Come on.
But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain.
So Christ had graved himself a great mountain. Give me that in Zechariah 14 and 4.
Bring it out.
You come right back there, hold that.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 4.
14, chapter 14.
Chapter 14 and verse 4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east.
Uh-huh.
And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east.
Meaning he was going to cut the mountain. Come on.
And toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley. And half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
He was going to cut the mountain in half. You got to envision that thing. So Christ cut the mountain. So now go back to 2 Ezra 13 and 6.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it.
So they saw it. So the army saw Christ show up. Christ showed up on the scene with a bad garment, and he cut the mountain in half. Damn. And then flew up on top of it. That joint is crazy. That joint is a scene. It's like, that's some like anime stuff right there. That's some powerful stuff. Like he cut the mountain and then flew up on top of that joint.
That's right.
Let me see. Find me the see if you can find this for me, IT, real quick. See if you can find me. There was a scene in this anime. It's called Naruto Shippuden, where Madara Susanoo cut the top of the mountain off. See if you can find me that. Find me where he cut the mountain off. While you're looking for that, give me, I want to give y'all some visual. You got to visualize what the scriptures are saying. Y'all got to visualize it, brothers. But now, give me that. Go back to Matthew 24. So, wait, no, we at 2 Ezra. Keep reading 2 Ezra, my fault. 2 Ezra, chapter 6. 2 13, verse 6 again.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it.
So he was flying on the mountain. Come on. But
I would have seen the region or place wherewith whereout the hill was graven, and I could not.
So he couldn't see. So Ezra, he didn't get that vision. He couldn't see that part of the vision. Come on. But Zechariah got it. It was in the Mount of Olives. So the same place that Christ was standing in Matthew 24, prophesying, that's the same place with the mountain where he cut. Come on.
And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
So all those nations that were gathered together, both small, great, rich, poor, come on.
And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war.
So he was standing there on top of the mountain that was cut, and he was just looking at them. He didn't even draw a sword. He had no weapons on him. He's looking at all those dudes. He's like, all right, give me your best shot. All right. Go ahead. Watch this right here.
Though in a way,
this is like an example of it.
say that actually works out better for you. Because...
So he cut with a sword and cut the top of the mountain off. Yo! Fire! Look at that joint. He cut the mountain on top of the mountain is gone. That joint is hot right there. Oh my goodness, man. That's what happened. So that's, you gotta visualize it. He cut the top of the mountain off. And then, but see what happened though, but Christ, he flew on top of the mountain after he cut it. So that's the next part, but they didn't get to that. So now he's standing there looking at the nations. Read on.
Verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war.
Read.
But only I saw that he sent out his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire.
Now get the other, since we already are looking at that, get where he shot the fire out of his mouth. The same guy where he shot the fire.
Bring it out.
It said a majestic destroyer flame. That joke was crazy. Get that one where he shot the fire. So read that again.
But only I saw that he sent out his mouth as it had been a blast of fire.
So Christ sent out of his mouth a blast of fire. Come on.
And out of his lips a flaming breath.
So a flaming breath came out of his lips. Come on.
And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
So it was a tempest of fire and sparks, and it flew out of his mouth. Come on.
And they were all mixed together.
Damn, come on.
The blast of fire.
The blast of fire.
The flaming breath.
The flaming breath.
And the great tempest.
The great tempest.
And fell with violence upon the multitude.
And the fire and everything fell with violence upon the multitude. Come on.
Which was prepared to fight.
Which was prepared to fight. So they was prepared to fight Christ.
And burned them up, every one.
So they all got burned by the fire. Come on.
So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude.
So there was a whole multitude of people. Come on.
Nothing was to be perceived.
Nothing was to be perceived. It was like they were no longer there. It was like they did not exist. They just got wiped off the face of the earth. Come on.
That's right.
Nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke.
Damn, come on.
When I saw this, I was afraid.
So that's what Christ is coming to do. He's coming to destroy the nations for all the evil that they have done to us. That's the vengeance. Oh, yeah, we go. Watch this. Watch this. Look at the fire style. The flaming fire. Look at that joint right there. This is a visualization of the scriptures. Where do you think Moab got that from? Where do you think Ammon got this joint from? The scriptures. Look at the fire hit the water. Look at that fire burning up. All of them getting burnt. That's a visualization of the scriptures. So imagine all those multitude of guys right there got wiped out and they just was finished. That's what Christ did. That fire hit them and they were gone. Come on. Where was that again?
Verse 11.
All right, we finished that. Go back. Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 29.
See, when y'all gotta read, when you read these scriptures, man, you gotta visualize it, man. You gotta it's gotta excite you. Right. It's gotta excite this. Come on, man. Give me Matthew 24:29.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
So that's more destruction. Well, before we get to destruction, let's deal with that top part. It said immediately after the tribulation of those days. What's the tribulation of those days? Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 17.
Bring it out.
Because there ain't going to be no easy fight, brothers. It ain't going to be easy. We got some crazy stuff coming. We just have to endure it. Read.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?
So Ezra, he's like, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because he knows he's going to be back. Come on.
The beginning of sorrows and great mournings.
That's what we read in Matthew 24. Come on.
The beginning of famine.
The beginning of famines.
And great death.
And great death.
The beginning of wars.
Uh-huh.
And the powers shall stand in fear.
Uh-huh.
The beginning of evils.
Read.
What shall I do when these evils shall come?
He said, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Because evils are going to come upon us, brothers. Come on.
Behold, famine
is coming. Plague is coming.
Tribulation
is coming.
Anguish.
Uh-huh.
Are sent as scourges for amendment.
Meaning to correct us, to purge us, and to make us white. To give us those white garments, which is immortality. In order to get that, we have to go through famine. We have to go through plague. We got to go through tribulation. We got to go through anguish. Come on.
But for all these things, they shall not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges.
So some of Israel, they going to remain wicked. Even after all the tribulation that's going, they are not going to repent of their sins, and they will be put to death. That's just what's going to happen. Come on.
Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth.
Read.
Sword, famine, and great confusion.
So food is going to be cheap. Right now, the inflation of food prices is high. So what it's saying, at some point, the food price is going to return. They're going to go back down. And when that happens, it said it's still going to be sword, it's still going to be famine, and it's still going to be great confusion. Come on.
For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine.
So a lot of people is going to die from famine. Come on.
And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Meaning the war, missiles, sword, armies, they're going to get destroyed from that. Jump up to verse 38.
Verse 38.
No, verse 35.
Verse 35. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord.
So hear these things, hear these scriptures, hear these prophecies, servants of the Lord, you Israelites, and understand them. Come on.
Behold the word of the Lord. Receive it.
Receive it. Come on.
Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake.
So don't believe the gods of these other nations. Come on.
Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack.
So now we in so-called 2024. The plagues draw nigh, brothers. The plagues draw nigh. Watch ye therefore. They not slack. Come on.
As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son within 2 or 3 hours.
So the tribulation is going to last 2 or 3 hours, which is 2 or 3 years. Read.
Within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment.
Because the contractions get closer and closer to the point where there's no space in between them. That's the times that we're coming on now. Watch ye therefore, brothers. Watch ye therefore. Read verse 70 now.
Verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
That's the time of tribulation in those days. Come on.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
That's what's going to happen. So spoil and destroy those that fear the Lord. Come on.
For they shall waste and take away their goods.
Read.
And cast them out of their houses.
You're going to get cast out of our houses. Come on.
Then shall they be known who are my chosen.
Then shall they be known who are my chosen. So those that endure these things, you're going to be known who are the chosen of God in those days. Come on.
That's right.
And they shall be tried as gold is in the fire.
And they shall be tried. I mean, the sins, your impurities will be removed, and you will be that pure gold. Going back to Matthew 24 now.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 29.
Read.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened.
So right after after the tribulation, after these prophets get thrown out of their houses, after we get afflicted, after the famine, after the pestilence, it said the sun shall be darkened. Come on.
And the moon shall not give her light.
And the moon shall not give her light after these things. Come on.
And the stars shall fall from heaven. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That's talking about thermonuclear destruction. That's what that's talking about. Give me Joel 2 and 30.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 30.
Read.
And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord to come.
Before the great and terrible day of the Lord to come. The moon into blood is talking about dead bodies. That goes back to that carcass where the birds are going to eat up all them people. That's what it's going back to. The sun being darkened, the bombs is going to block out the sun. That's how much smoke is going to fly up into the air. The chariot is going to come, block out the sun. That's why I said the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light. That's all the destruction that is coming. When it said the stars shall fall out of heaven, that's talking about the satellites. That's talking about the satellites. Esau's satellites and all that space systems, all that stuff is going to fall from heaven.
That's right.
Let me get that Isaiah. Let me get that Isaiah. Let me see. Isaiah, the 34th chapter. I think that's what I want. Yeah, Isaiah 34 and 4.
Bring it out.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved.
That's talking about their space systems, their satellites, their airplanes, their rockets. All the hosts of heaven of Esau shall be destroyed. Come on.
And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
That's that nuclear mushroom cloud that we saw earlier. That's the heavens being rolled together as a scroll. Come on.
And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine.
So all their hosts shall fall down. That's all their satellites falling down. All the satellites falling down. Look at that right there. Look at that image right there. That's fire right there. All the planes falling. All the satellites falling out the sky. That's the destruction. That's what Christ is talking about. That's what's going to take place after the tribulation of those days. Watch ye therefore, brothers. Go back. Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Come on.
And then shall
That's bombs. Come on.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in the heaven.
That's Christ.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming with power and with the clouds of heaven and great glory. So the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, that's when it said they shall see the man coming from the sea. Give me that in 2nd Ezra 13 again. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 3.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousand of heaven.
That's Christ waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, with the angels, with his armies. Come on.
And when he turned his countenance to look, all these things trembled that were seen under him.
All those armies trembled. They were scared, shaking in their boots when they seen Christ with the thousands of heaven come on the scene. That's exactly how the Ninja Alliance was when they saw Madara come on the scene too. They were shook. It was funny, the correlation there. But it said the clouds of heaven. When it said the clouds of heaven, go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
So that's the tribe. So when it said all these things in 2 Esdras 13 and 3, the things there is talking about all the tribes of the earth, the nations. They trembled when they seen him. Come on.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
That said the thousands of heaven. Give me the clouds now. Psalms 104 verse 3. When it said the clouds, this is what it's talking about. It said the clouds of heaven. It's not talking about them clouds in the sky now, for you dumb Christians. It's talking about the chariots of God, God's vehicles. We're going to prove that right now.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3.
Come on.
Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters.
Read.
Who maketh the clouds his chariot.
Who maketh the clouds his chariot. That's the images right there. All praises. That's some good images right there. So that's the clouds. When it said the clouds of heaven, that's what it's talking about. They call them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. They used to call them UFOs before they released the documents now. Come on, go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, and from one end of heaven to the other.
So that's us. Well, that's the angels of God collecting the scattered Israelites. That's some chariots they're going to pick. That's what they call the rapture. They're going to be picking us up from the four winds of heaven, from one end of the heaven from the other. That's what times we're waiting on now. So this is the future prophecy. Give me that in Revelation 7 and 3.
Bring it out.
Revelation chapter 7, verse 3.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, neither the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
So that's what we're waiting for, the angels to seal that number that was sealed, 144,000. Once that number is sealed, that's when this time has come. Come on, go back to Matthew 24 now, verse 32.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know the summer is nigh.
Because fig trees fruit in the summertime. That's why it says that. So the same way how we know when we watch the signs of the times, we know that the times are drawing closer. That's what it's saying. Read on.
So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
Know that it is near, even at the doors. So the same way how you can look and watch a fig tree, you know that it's about to fruit. That's the same way how you can watch the signs of the times and you know that the time is about to come. Come on.
Verily, I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
Give me that Matthew 16:28. This is what this is talking about.
Bring it
when
out.
it said, this generation shall not pass till all these things been fulfilled, meaning those same people that were there when Christ walked the earth, they are here today.
Damn, wow.
The book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 28. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
So it's not saying they didn't die. It's not saying they were immortal and walked the earth from then all the way till now. They died, but they regenerated. And them same souls are back today.
That's right.
That means even those same souls that crucified him and that pierced him, they're back on the earth today. Come on. Go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 33. So
35.
Verse 35. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Meaning that the people on the earth will get old and die, but the words of this prophecy will not pass away. The earth is still abiding forever, like it says in Ecclesiastes. Come on.
Verse 36, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
No, go back to 35. Let me get the precept.
Verse 35.
Yeah.
Verse 35. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Let me get Psalms 102:26.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 102, verse 25. Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands.
So the heavens are the work of thy hands. Christ made all that. Come on.
They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shalt thou change them, and they shall be changed.
Meaning that's why when it says new heavens and new earth, because the old will pass away. That's what it's talking about there. So the same way how he made it is the same way how he can change it. He can alter it. That's what it's going into. But the word of God is the same. Read on.
Verse 27, but thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end.
But thou art the same. Christ is the same, and his years have no end because he's immortal. He's already in the immortality body. Come on.
The children of thy servants shall continue, and their seed shall be established before thee.
So the children of thy servant shall continue, meaning the seed of Israel will stand, because we're going to be ruling forever with Christ. And we shall be established before him. Come on, go back to Matthew 24 now.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 35. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Read.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
So only the Father knows at that time. Acts 1 and 7. Read. Acts chapter 1, verse 7.
Bring it out.
The book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 7.
Come on.
And he hath said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. But ye shall receive power after the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea.
So it's not for us to know the times of the seasons. That's up to the Father when he decides for these things to happen. But what we can do is watch ye therefore and pray. Come on. Go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew.
Verse 37 now.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Read.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
So it says, for as the days of Noah were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage until Noah entered into the ark. Because that's the same way how it's going to be in the Son of Man time. We prophesying, we telling the people the things that's coming. And they still carrying on like nothing happened. They swagging and surfing in the church. They being power bottoms. They doing all kind of wickedness. And they not listening to what the prophets of the word of God is saying. Allegedly, by the way. Come on. Read 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3. 1 Peter chapter, no, actually read verse 39, my bad.
Verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So they didn't know what was coming until the flood came. They didn't know what was coming until the destruction came. That's how it's going to be when the Son of Man returns. We've been warning them. We've been telling them for years. Right. Every Sabbath day, every day we hit the street corner and we warn the people, but they don't listen. But the day they're going to find out is right when them bombs start hitting. Read that, 1 Peter 4.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought thee to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness.
When we walk in lasciviousness. So that's what our people are doing. They're walking in lasciviousness. They're walking in the will of the Gentiles. Come on.
Lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings.
Banquetings. That's why when it says eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage, that's the banquetings. That's the excessive riots. That's the drinking, the excessive wine. That's what our people are doing. Meanwhile, we warn them, they go into church, they go to the club Friday evening, Saturday night, and then they're in the club swag surfing Sunday. While we was on the street prophesying, warning them about this thing. That's what's going, a lot of our people are going to get caught off guard because of that. Read on.
Banquetings and abominable idolatries.
And abominable idolatries. That's them going to the Christian church. That's them going to the Muslim mosque. That's them going to the Catholic church. That's them going to all these different ideologies instead of the one true God. Go back to Matthew 24, read verse 40.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 40. Then shall two be in the field. The one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill. The one shall be taken and the other left.
So two shall be grinding at the mill, meaning working. One shall be taken, the other left. Because the other was too busy eating and drinking and being excessive wine and committing abominations. And they didn't repent. So they're going to be left. Come on.
Watch, therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come.
Watch ye therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord shall come. Watch ye therefore, brothers. This is what we doing. This is the signs of the times. We got to watch. Read.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
So now that good man of the house there, that good man of the house is talking about Esau. That's who the good man of the house is. Because read the verse again.
Verse 43, but know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come.
The thief is talking about Christ. Because Christ would come as a thief in the night. Let me get that in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. The thief is talking about Christ. The good man of the house is talking about Esau. Come on.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
So it said, if the good man of the house would have watched, he would not have suffered his house to be broken up. See, but his house was already broken up. Go back to Matthew again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 43. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up.
See, but Esau's house is already broken up. Give me that in Matthew 12, verse 25. Esau's house is already divided. They already broken up. So they were not going to stand regardless. It don't matter if they watched. They could have watched all they wanted. The thief was still going to come. Come on.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Because now you got the Republican Party, you got the Democratic Party. You got the conservatives, you got the liberal. You got the left, and you got the right. You got the homosexuals, and you got the non. That's what's going on right now in America. It's divided. Then you got the all the other nations that are in here. You got the Arabs fighting against the other people. You got the Chinese fighting against them. You got all these different kingdoms here, all these different nations here in this melting pot, all divided. It says they shall not stand. Read. And
if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. how shall then his kingdom stand?
So his kingdom is not going to stand because Satan is divided against Satan. So go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 43. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready, for
Watch
in
this.
such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
So, therefore, be ye also ready. That's talking about us, Israel. For in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. So we got to be watching. Give me that in 2 Peter 3 and 11. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
So that's the way we got to be rolling. We got to be in all holy conversation and godliness. Right. That's why it says, therefore be ye also ready. We got to keep ourselves ready in all holy conversation and godliness. Go back to Matthew.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 44. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give the meat in due season.
So, the faithful and wise servant, that's talking about us. We're the faithful and wise servant. We're the servants of God. The servants of God are the Israelites. Let me get that. Hebrews 10, 38.
Bring it out.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38 for the faithful.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him.
But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. So the just shall live by faith. Who's the just? The Israelites. Come on, go back. Matthew.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 44. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh, who then is a faithful and wise servant.
So the servants of Israel, write this down. The servants get Leviticus 25:55 for the servants of God. Leviticus 25:55. That's the precept for the servant.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25 and verse 55. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
Now get Exodus chapter 32, verse 13. There's another precept.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 32, verse 13. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants.
Thy servants, thy servants, thy servants. So that's letting us know Abraham, Isaac, and Israel is the servants of God. So go back, Matthew 24, read verse 46 now.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 46. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
Blessed is that servant whom the Lord shall find so doing, meaning doing the righteousness, keeping the commandments. Come on.
Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods.
Yeah, Matthew chapter 25, verse 21.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 21. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
Go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 46. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find doing so.
So find so doing. Doing what? Revelation 22, chapter 11.
Bring it out.
The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
Right.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
So it said, he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. He that is holy, let him be holy still. That's what the Lord is coming back to see. Right, us being righteous, us being holy, meaning keeping the commandments. Read.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his works shall be.
So according as his work shall be. So you got Christians talking about you only got to keep the faith in Christ. You only got to say, I am saved in the blood of Jesus. No. You got to have works with your faith. Put your works where your faith is at. For you Christians out there. Come on.
I am Alpha and...
No, my bad. Go back to Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse...
Read verse 48 now.
48. But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming.
Meaning you lost patience. You lost patience. You lost patience. Give me that Sirach 2:14. The Bible says, woe unto you that have lost patience. We cannot lose patience in this walk. If you lose patience, you sign yourself up for death, for the second death. Give me that Sirach 2:14. We gotta stay patient, brothers. We gotta endure unto the end.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 14. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?
What shall ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Because he gonna see, he gonna be like, yo, what happened? You was walking in this truth, you was rolling in this truth, and you went out drinking, you got drunk, and you overdid it. You can't be doing that. Come on. Go back to Matthew 24.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 48. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with drunken.
Meaning you arguing with your leadership, you arguing with your brothers, you fighting your brothers in the school. You eating and you drinking with the drunken, you getting drunk now. Come on now. Come on, brother. You can't be doing this. Read.
The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of.
Meaning God, the Christ is going to catch you off guard, catch you slipping, caught you lacking. Come on.
And shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
So that's the last thing we want. We got to endure unto the end. We got to keep these commandments. We got to stay faithful. And most of all, we got to stay in the spirit.
That's right.
So with that, we say shalom.
Come on, we need y'all to subscribe to help us push. We got a lot of work to do in North Carolina. The Carolinas need this work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Carolinas need this work. So we need y'all to go and subscribe right now. Grab your finger. This one right here in particular.
Right.
Swipe the YouTube that you're probably already watching. Click the YouTube app.
Right.
Go to IUIC Raleigh page. Right up under there, it says subscribe. Click that button one time. Click that check. Subscribe to IUIC Raleigh.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom. What is the nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models.